Hey y'all, Miss Kennedy here from Algebra Student, and today we're looking at solving compound inequalities, and we're going to graph them too. You can see the little number line there on the screen. Compound inequalities can be confusing because you don't just have one thing, you've got two, and sometimes X is in the middle, and sometimes there's like two things going on, and there's an or, and it's confusing. So let's look at it. Hit subscribe. I'm going to help you make sense of algebra so that you can understand it and then move on with your life. That's what my goal is for this. All right, so on the first one, think about this like if it was an equation. So let me write that over here. Let's see. Let's do negative 12 equals x minus 7. I'm just going to take the first part. Think about what you would do to solve for x. Like that's what's going through your mind when you look at a problem like this. If I was going to solve for x, I would want to add 7 to both sides. And I would get negative 12 plus 7. So negative 5 equals x. X is negative 5. All right. That would be my answer for that problem. So I'm going to do the same thing here because our goal is to get x alone. By itself, it's called isolated, but we want it to be where there's nothing else with the x, like in this case, there's an x minus 7. We don't want that minus 7 there. So whatever we see that we need to do, we go ahead and do that to all parts of the inequality. Whereas it used to be in just a regular equation, you just say on both sides of the equation, but this is just saying you got to do it to the whole thing. All right, so negative 12 plus 7 is negative 5, less than x, negative 7 plus 7, 0, so that goes away, less than 7 minus 3 is 4. All right, so now we've actually solved the inequality. It was actually just a one-step inequality. It's done. But the question is that possible? So you have to ask yourself that because you could get an answer, but it's actually not possible to be true. And so then you wouldn't graph anything. I'm covering up my face. So you would, you have to ask yourself, okay, is it possible for there to be some number for x that is bigger than negative 5 and is less than 4? Because that's what that's saying. It's saying x is bigger than negative 5 because it says negative 5 is less than x. Okay, so negative 5 is smaller, but x is less than 4. And so you got to think, okay, is that possible? Yes, that's possible. Think about 0. 0 is bigger than negative 5, and 0 is less than 4. So it works. Now, for me, I'm good with just the two numbers on the ends and graphing from there. Your teacher may need you to write out the whole thing, or your teacher may provide you with a happy little number line that's all, filled in with all the numbers. So, do what's on your notes, however your teacher explained it and showed you in examples. But this is saying x is everything between here, and it's not included because it's a less than sign. If it was less than or equal to, it would be a closed circle that we're about to graph. But because it's just a less than, it's open. And by the way, good tip to know, these can be different. These signs here, I forget that on this program, you can't see my arrow all the time. I don't think. Anyway, all right. So these less than signs one could be less than and one could be less than or equal to, and that's okay. It can, and that would just mean one circle would be open and one circle would be closed. So since these are both less thans, then we are going to have open circles at both of these places, and x is in between, so you shade in between, which is kind of nice that it works out that way. And so think about it, that what you've shaded is showing you that anything in between here is true. So anything in between negative 5 and positive 4 is a solution to this answer, to this problem. Okay. All right. So that's an and problem. That's what we call it. And because it's both things, and okay, it's this and it's this. Here's an or problem. It's got the word or in it, right? I know you thought I was super smart for knowing that. Okay, so that just means treat it like two problems. Treat it like one problem or the other problem. And so you're going to just add 2 to both sides here because it says x minus 2. So just think of it like it says equals and then solve it the same way. And so x is less than 2 minus 1 is 1. So there's one of my parts to my answer. Or, now let's do this one. This one says x minus 3, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And that gives me x is greater than or equal to 4. Okay. Lovely handwriting there. I'm sure yours is much neater than mine. All right, so wow. X is less than 1, or x is greater than or equal to 4. So the or is saying it can be either one of those. It can be less than 1, so that could be like 0 or negative numbers. Or x could be equal or greater than 4. So that would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.3, all those possibilities. Okay, so I need 1, and I wrote 4, or I was about to write 4, and I need 4. And at 1, it's open because it is less than, and x is less than 1. So notice, where x is on that less than side. So x is anything out here that's less than 1, or is greater than or equal to 4. So since it's greater than or equal to, I'm going to close the circle because it could be 4, and it could be anything that is greater than 4, 5, 6, and so on. Okay, so those are your 2 differences. So just kind of visually notice, here when it's and, notice that you shaded in the middle, and here when it was or, you shaded on the outsides. It's either this or it's that. And so you've got 2 possibilities for solutions. Okay. I hope this helps. Let me know in the comments if you have questions or if you need more complicated problems, because these are definitely the starter ones for this section. And I would be glad to help you with that. Thanks.